Hey guys, me Dave. It's Sunday. So this stupid monkey is already came on at 7 o'clock and started torturing me at 7:15. He's already tortured my feet and electrocuted my chin. Okay, now is there gonna be repercussions for this guy tomorrow? Or this guy thinks he's gonna get away with murder because I'm not getting any help. Okay, now I haven't told the truth. I can still call 911 and tell them I'm being tortured. And they're torturing my feet and electrocuting my chin. So is this a setup? Is it, let this guy bury himself? Is he going to be back after tomorrow? Or is he going to be, you know, I mean, they pretty much let me go home and just to get tortured again by this asshole. And it's always this asshole on the weekends. So he's already starting to torture the hell out of my feet. I can still call 911 and tell him that I'm being tortured, Havana syndrome, and I'm being hurt here. I can still do that, you know. So, yeah, I don't know. Everyone's involved. The doctors are involved. He was in there for 5 minutes last night, and I don't know. He felt my feet and he checked my back, and that was it. You know, so I can still call and tell the truth. You know, so you know, why are we getting it harder under Trump? Is it going to stop, or do they own Trump? Because I tell you, Ti's got a break under Biden. We didn't get hit like this under Biden. They started hitting us hard after Trump decided to run again. So Havana syndrome started under Trump, you know, his first term, when he decided to run and get in. That's when these programs came out mostly in 2015, 2016, Havana syndrome. So is it going to stop, or do they own Trump and cash and the dream team, and they talk about getting rid of the deep state and all that stuff, but people are being tortured to hell under Trump again, so what's going to happen? Is it going to take people all over the country to call and say, I'm being hurt with directed energy weapons, 911? And then they're like, well, we got an epidemic or we got some kind of thing going on where all these people are complaining about Havana syndrome. So I really don't know what is going on. At this point, I've never got denied medical care like this before. Um, you know, and this bitch thinks that because they didn't do anything, he thinks he gets a free pass to do whatever he wants. So I think that's a mistake. Um, I think people need to step in and get their ass up here and start helping people out because I've never been hurt like this before. It's one thing to put somebody in a wheelchair, but to torture the hell out of them at the same time. Why is this guy here? Why is this guy in society? The FBI, the police, the CIA, they got kids too. You know, do they think they want this punk walking around their kids? I mean, if you were FBI or CIA, this guy will do this to his own mother. Do you think the FBI want this punk walking around their kids? I mean, here's part of my theory is that there's people in the FBI, CIA trying to bring this out. I think Matthew, Dr. Matt, Ella, I think are totally CIA, and put up billboards and all that stuff, um, you know, and stuff like that. I think they're trying to bring this out. I do think it's going to get to the mainstream news where civilians are being hit. Um, uh, I thought they were going to go to Gitmo. Well, they were kind of people were throwing a fit. You can't bring Americans over to Gitmo and get you know other countries to get rid of our criminals, put them in prison. So Trump is like, okay, well, we're going to open up Alcatraz. So they're actually restoring Alcatraz right now. It's going to be open next year to house the worst of the worst of the worst American criminals. And they're going to put them in Alcatraz because they can't put them in Gitmo legally. They can't take them out of the country and put them in prison. So now they're fixing up Alcatraz. Um, so you know who's gonna go there? So it just it's unbelievable what's going on. I do think it's gonna come out. I think that Jesse Veltron or whatever. I do think he's someone else. I think he works for an agency, and I think he's gonna probably get on mainstream news pretty soon. And this will come out. Hopefully, it'll stop. But we're not getting any medical care. They were so fast to get me out of there last night. Um, that I mean, I before I left, I grabbed my phone, my charger, and my wallet with my debit card and my keys, and just in case they sent me home. I was surprised they didn't keep me actually. And the doctor came in. I can't do anything for you. I'll make an appointment with neurology. Get you in. Um, I made the appointment last night for actually Tuesday, December 2nd, 8 o'clock in the morning. Probably won't be able to get there. Is the thing. What can they do for me anyway? And then so uh because I'm not getting medical care, and it's these weekend bitches that do this. Um Now this guy thinks, well, shit, I'm God. This guy ain't gonna get any help, and I can do whatever I want to him. But I can still call 911 and tell the truth and say, I'm being tortured. They're torturing my feet. Havana syndrome. And I don't know what to do. So I can still do that. Um, and that's what Brian too does. So I'm kind of confused as to, I don't know, but they rushed me out of there so fast last night, and they called me a cab, and the cab's like, we'll be there in 10 minutes or less. I'm like, what? 10 minutes? Usually it takes an hour. And I said, well, do they take debit card? They're like, don't worry about it. We'll give you a cab voucher. We'll take care of it. So the hospital paid for me to get home. So, but they rushed me out of there. My notes, I read my notes. They're just like, oh, complaining about this. He was here 2 weeks ago. That was it. No blood work, no blood pressure, no nothing. There was a cop down there walking the halls by my room. There was another cop. We were waiting for the cab. A nurse went out there and waited with me for the cab, pushed me to the car, got in, and left. They were so fast to get me the hell out of there last night. Um, you know, that if this guy keeps torturing me and hurting me and nobody does anything about it, I can still call and say I'm being tortured with direct energy weapons Havana syndrome. And it's becoming a nuisance. This guy is the nuisance. And he thinks he can do whatever he wants, So I can still do that. And be like, well, I don't know what to do. I'm being tortured to hell. I mean, what do I do? you know. So, tell the truth, I guess. But anyway, that's what's going on. I mean, this guy's been on for 20 minutes and he's already starting. So I don't know what's going to happen today. I hope this son of a bitch doesn't come back ever again after today. He's doing it because it's the weekend. Thinks nobody's around. Thinks, they don't do it this bad during the week. It's always this weekend bitch that does this. So he's got balls on the weekend. So what does that say? But I'll talk to you guys later.